So welcome to this December body focus session. I cannot believe this is already December, end of the year, 22. I thought it had just begun. It has gone really, really fast. But if I look back to 22, I feel there's a lot of things that I know I traveled quite a bit. So a lot of things happen. They just happen really fast. So I hope that you're doing all well over there, out there. I haven't heard from you guys. You're very quiet. So I would love to hear from you. So I feel I'm not talking in space. But anyways, so body focus. Let's talk about the season that we are in. We are in the winter season. When it comes to the understanding the elemental level, it's the predominance of air and ether element. So if you look at air and ether element, air and ether is spacey, dark. When it's windy, and it's a lot of space around that makes you feel cold and brittle. That's kind of the characteristics if you're living, when you look outside in the winter time. It's brittle, it's cold, it's harsh, it's dry. So the same thing our body is also going through, because our body is nature. It's not just part of nature, it is nature. Now, to double up with that, if you have a constitution, which is air and ether predominant, and if you don't know how to find that, you should go to my book, Healing Your Relationship with Food. There's a whole there's a whole table that I provided that you can mark the book and figure out your constitution. So if we, if we look at the summer diet, the summertime, we can drink cold things, icy things, ice creams, lighter food. And it's great. It works out good. So if we continue that, the same way of eating in the winter time, then we can create an imbalance in the air and the ether element. When they combine, it's called the Vata imbalance. And, when you look at the innate intelligence of the body, naturally, nobody wants to eat salads and icy and cold things in the wintertime. Very few people, because if you are, that's depicting an imbalance within you. We tend to want to eat a little bit heavier food, warmer, hot foods, soups, and things like that, nuts. So there is that intelligence in the body, and the good thing to do is to listen to that. And, especially this is being, December, I always feel November, December, we're still resisting the winter. We're still resisting the cold weather. We're still quite not used to it. It's funny because, winter happens every year, but every time it happens, I know for me, it's kind of like I have to reacquaint my body to the cold. It just does not naturally just adapt. Like the first walk in the cold feels like, oh, wow, that felt really cold. But in end of December, January, we get used to it. And December being the end of the year, so naturally our tendency is to kind of, wind down, slow down. And this is a time to gather with family, friends, celebrate, and we should definitely do all of that. And, most people will gain weight during this time. And to me, it's not everything in life is not about weight. It can't be about gaining weight, losing weight. I think we have made our weight too much of a focus in our life, right? Everybody's struggling with the last 5-10 pounds. And there comes a point where you just have to let it be. And the focus should be on healthy. I think that if we focus more on being healthy, nourishing the body, we are better off in our health than if we continuously focus on, I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to eat that, because I'm going to gain weight. A little bit extra weight in winter may not be a bad idea. It gives you the extra cushion, right? I'm a practitioner. I'm totally opposite. That's why you would never see emails from me that say 5 things not to eat in wintertime, or, this is how you can keep the weight off during the holidays. Because my focus is not on weight. I'd rather this is, from experience, when I'm just naturally healthy, I don't gravitate towards tons of junk food. I don't gravitate towards tons of sweets or cookies. Yeah, I'll have things here and there, but that's not a big deal. And if you're gravitating towards, junk food and sugary things, then there's a problem going on. And when we try to curtail our desire to not do what we want to do, is sooner or later, is not only is going to get, that pleasure isn't there, the stress is there, and it's stressful. It's not fun. Right? And when you stop yourself from eating something, when you really want to eat it, I don't know about you, but it sticks in my head. The more I force, an example is sometimes, if I go to bed late, or if I haven't eaten enough dinner because I wasn't hungry at dinner time, I go to bed late and now I'm hungry. So I'm like, oh my God, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I should not be eating. I absolutely should not be eating, because you eat, it just sits there. It's not a good idea, but you got a really good sleep. So you have to wait. Do you want to get sleep? Or you're worried about that it's not, that is, it's really the end of the world. So what is important? Sleep, or that you do not put that, few ounces on you because you just ate and you lie back in bed. But once the thought comes that I'm hungry, it is difficult, especially at nighttime when your defenses are down, you are tired, it's low. So I get up and eat something. and I go to sleep. And I still find myself arguing with myself, but it's less and less because I'm like, I'm not going to worry about it. So I think having a stress-free psyche is far more important than having a few pounds on you, okay? Weight, by all means, obesity is a problem, you know that, and it's a cause for many, many illnesses. But there is that, and then our fixation with a certain number on the scale and calorie counting, I think that we can go too far with it. It's a war within ourselves. We create this war within ourselves, within our own body, and there's no need for it. At the end of the day, your body, my body, is going to turn to ashes. It's not going to matter if you had extra 5 pounds. What's going to matter is how you use those pounds, how you lived. Did you live well? So I know that this is a very difficult thing to do, especially in a culture where everybody is wanting to lose weight and nobody is. If we actually were successful, we would stop chasing this thing. So, anyway, that's my spiel. I mean, you're not, you are intelligent people. You have information, you have knowledge. I think you will do fine just during the holidays. Enjoy the holidays, enjoy the food, enjoy your family, celebrate. that adds a lot more value to our life than if we lost the 2 pounds. That's an add value. So, right? So you're already eating healthy, because I know just a handful of you that are in this program. You're already eating healthy. You're good. You have the information. So don't buy into this thing that goes everywhere. 5 things to eat not during the holidays. How to keep losing weight during the holidays. Like, oh my God, we're just bringing more attention to the something we end up making a bigger issue out of it, leave it to our modern culture than it really is. It's not an issue, people, unless you have obesity. That's a whole new problem. Unless you're sitting there binging on junk food all day long, that's a whole new problem. Okay, but so keeping the thought that this is winter time, that one of the ways to take care of food is very important. One of the ways to take care of the body is to eat well. Eat cooked, hot, spiced up foods, food that are easy to digest. And one of the things that you may notice in the winter time, because the days seem to be smaller, the time when the light is on is smaller as compared to when the dark is. So many times I may just eat twice. That's enough. Actually, it's a rare occasion that I eat 3 meals a day anymore. I just don't. Wintertime, it is even more so, because suppose you have breakfast, I don't eat breakfast till 11ish, whatever, and then you can eat dinner at 5. Right? If there's some snack in between, I tend not to snack. So you may not need to eat as much, but it really depends. It depends on how you feel. Sometimes to endure the cold, to change in the season, food is warming, food is comforting. So, and if we stay home more, then there's a tendency to eat. So there's no one way. It's just, don't try to outsmart nature. If the body is desiring something, desiring something to eat, don't try to outsmart it. Don't get into your head about it, about the calories and the numbers on the scale. It's not about 5 pounds here, 5 pounds there. It is not. I don't care what someone tells you. It's about how you feel. When you feel well, you're naturally going to eat healthy. So you kind of maintain the weight. Okay. So I'm not suggesting go ahead and devour a whole box full of cookies. Yes, you can have a couple, right? But there's going to be a little bit of overeating in the holidays, when you go to 3 parties in one day. So the order of eating, contrary to what we have done, many times we eat dessert at the end of the meal. So let me explain it this way. If you suppose you've had a nice, good meal, and then you eat a piece of cake on top of it, a chocolate cake. So it's pure sugar. So the sugar just lays over the food you just consumed that is not yet digested. Food digests quickly. So the sugar actually ferments the food you ate. What that means is creates toxicity. And actually a very good way to figure that out is, when we've done that, we've all done that because that's the norm. We eat dinner, we eat meal, and then there's a dessert right after. Nobody waits half an hour. Especially if you're outside, you will notice the feeling that you get. It's just heavy feeling. It's not a big deal, but that's something that we can rethink. If you're eating at home, eat dessert separately from the meals, right? But at the same time, there's a difference. A sweet taste can consolidate all the taste and can it consolidates, it kind of finishes the meal. It integrates all the tastes. It's a satisfying thing to have something sweet at the end of the meal. So that's very different than having a big piece of cake. So if you want something sweet, there are many options, right? I sometimes have a little piece of jaggery, which is sugar cane lump. It's called jaggery. So I put that, or I may have, a couple of raisins. Or fruit is not, if you're looking at something like like a little tiny tangerine, like an orange, and that's plenty sweet taste. But it's very different from having like a big dessert right after the meal. If you're going to have dessert, leave some room, maybe half an hour, so there's time for your food to get digested, and then you can enjoy the dessert. So there are a few things that, we may eat a lot in the summertime, like say salads, greens. So I want you to keep that in check, especially bitter greens. Bitter taste is, it's drying and it's cooling the body. So when we're eating things in balance, then we don't have to worry. Like, for example, if I were to use kale, I never just eat a big plate of kale. It's not even tasty. I don't even care for it. But I may put a handful of chopped up leaves in a soup to balance the taste. So when we're doing that, we can do that in any season. We don't need to worry about it. But if you are eating lots of bitters, and if you've done a lot of bitters in the summertime, wintertime is a time to reduce it. Now, as far as, using oil, so what's the opposite of dry is, yes, hydration is one thing. Hydration and oleation are different things. Drinking all the water in the world is not going to provide the lubrication, the oleation that our joints need. So that's provided by good oils. The good oils are, my favorite is always ghee, which is made by clarified butter. So I will take a teaspoon when I'm sauteing spices for the soup or for the vegetables. It's just a better fat. It has a short as carbon chains, so it does not stick to the cell walls like other oils do. Coconut oil, it's cooling. That's why many times I think the doctors are catching up to it, that if you have atherosclerosis or any heart condition, they tell you to reduce it. Now, wintertime is already a cooling time. Now, if you do coconut oil, that's cooling. Coconut oil solidifies in the colder temperature. So imagine what it can do to the arteries. It can just solidify there too in the colder temperature. So I would reduce the coconut oil in the wintertime, just once in a while, but I would reduce it. So ghee, avocado oil is a good oil. And I use safflower oil sometimes, and it's really great for the sauteing things. And olive oil, that is not good for high heat, so it's good for lower temperatures, but not to bake with or to cook on high heat. So see that you are using good quality oil. Put an extra teaspoon of ghee in your soup. It's good for your digestion, and it's good for the nervous system. It tastes great. So let's talk about external oleation. So winter being the, very kind of a dry month, our skin gets dry and cold. So this is a great time to do an oil massage. Most of you, I think all of you are in the US. You can order from banyanbotanicals.com some Vata massage oil or daily massage oil that you can use. It's really not only just comforting, it's a nerve therapy provided through the skin. Skin is the largest organ in the body. And so that's the way we can keep the body really supple, keep our joints lubricated. And it calms the nervous system down. It creates circulation, it calms the nervous system down. So you can take just literally 5 minutes before the shower, heat up the oil in your hand, so around the ears, and actually in the ears, in the nostrils, and then just you can massage the face, neck, shoulders, arm, hands, gentle in the heart, gentle clockwise on the belly, reach wherever you can on your back, from the top, from the sides, and same thing with your knees, ankles, and be sure to massage the bottoms of your feet. So just, it's like putting lotion on. So take extra, couple of minutes before the shower, and then you can go in the shower. You won't need to put any lotion on afterwards, and you're just going to feel good. It provides like a coat of, like you put a layer of clothing on in the wintertime. It can protect you also against the cold. So the self-massage. And what else comes to my mind is, wintertime, we kind of go within. We slow down, quiet down, go within. That can, and combined with the holidays themselves, can bring a lot of things to surface. And that has been happening anyways for a while with, I think, most of us. Everything that is inside is coming out on the surface. So, the mantra, feel it to heal it. Feel what you feel, and there's no time limit on it. When we open the lid to something, to our deeper subconscious psychological world, it's like a floodgate. More comes out than we have anticipated. And we continue to feel the same for a time period. And that's what it is. There's nothing wrong with you. It just simply, it's not fun, but just simply to feel what you feel. Be kind and gentle to yourself. You can only do that. You can only feel what you feel. There's nothing more to do. So pay attention to that. And I actually wanted to pull up, I had done a little, so I'm going to just give me a second. I'm going to share something with you here. So actually, I had created a list for some of the foods, just a reminder. So here it is. So winter qualities are irregular, dry, air is regular, cold, brittle, light. To balance, regularity. Regularity is very important. So my definition of regularity has changed over the last 2 years. I tune more into how I feel from day to day than doing the same thing, same time every single day. Sleep is an exception. But when it comes to eating, sometimes, I may have 2 meals, sometimes 1, sometimes 3. So it really depends on how you're feeling on that given day. But to maintain regularity, if you have any like digestion or lack of appetite issues going on, which I don't have, then regularity is a good thing, even if you eat. If regularity to you is, I eat around 11 o'clock, then that's going to become your daily thing. So just because you didn't eat breakfast at 9 o'clock doesn't mean you're irregular. It means that is you are regular in eating when you're eating. You're taking care of yourself. Okay. Oily, hot, soft. So calming, restoring, not overdoing. We all can tend to overdo. I'm going for a hike tonight, so I don't know if that's overdoing. I'm going for a hike in the nighttime, cold. But there's not it's a standard for everyone. It's a standard for you. So just take care of yourself where you're feeling fatigued and not rested, then listen to your body and take care of yourself. Taste to favor sweet taste, sour taste. Sour taste is moisturizing. So in a dry winter time, sour taste can be the antidote to the dryness. So sour taste can come in pickles, olives, sour fruit, but not a ton. Again, with, the word is balance. When we do too much of the same thing, we create a different imbalance. So it's Ayurveda is not about, here, do this, do this, do this. It's more about how are you feeling today? So it requires that you're able to tune in to what you need. It requires that you're able to tune into, like, is this too much? Is this too little? What is just the right amount? And that's an everyday, that's how we live from moment to moment, from day to day, saying, what feels right today? So balance is that which feels right. So we don't need to do the same old that we did yesterday. Maybe yesterday was a different day, but you get my point. Your thinking is involved, is needed. This is we have the knowledge, then we have to look at our own individual circumstances, bring our own ability to tune in, and then follow. Sour, salty taste, pungent to warm things up. So as I mentioned, taste reduces pungent, bitter, and astringent because they're all drying taste. Pungent is a little bit is okay. Actually, pungent should not be there. Pungent is like spicy, very like pepper, kind of pungent taste. All lentils are good. So any lentils, beans that you're cooking, cook them with ghee, oil, and spices. Fruits, so cheese, all dairy is fine. So, you'll mention the theme here, except hard cheeses. So hard things, brittle things, that's the same as the winter season. So we want something opposite, which is softer. So there's, this thing about all fruits except apples, because apples can tend to be drying, especially if someone is constipated. But I have also seen that people eating raw apples, it relieves their constipation. Others can make them constipated. So my favorite way to eat them is cooked, and dried fruits should be soaked. So I also soak almonds, walnuts. Dried fruits would be date, raisins, apricots. Rice, wheat are good. Reduce barley because barley scrapes the colon. It's like a cleansing grain. So not to overdo on barley, but all other grains are good. So nuts are good, soak them overnight. I never soak pistachios or cashews or hazelnuts, Brazilian nuts, and pecans. I even soak pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, because they have this what's called phytic acid. It comes in the way of absorption. When you soak them overnight, we're getting rid of the phytic acid, and the nuts, seeds are becoming more bioavailable. All spices except hot chilies, because the hot chilies, if you really, due to their drying quality, so a little bit of spice is hot is good, but too much hot chilies, red chilies, can dry the body. Honey, molasses, cane sugar. So cooked vegetables, reduce bitter greens, and reduce cold salads. And you can get the detail of all of this on my book as well. I think I took it from the book. So I have listed all the things in my book. So use the book as a reference guide. Just, flip it over. I talk about the seasons. I talk about the elements, the imbalances. So the information is right there with you. So I hope that you use that information. So we have our session this is the second Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday, I'm wondering if that's right near the holidays. No, actually, the fourth Tuesday is the 27th, which I will continue to do. So maybe you can join me if for those of you who are not working because you are off break, maybe you can join me for an hour. See you. But other than that, I won't see you till after Christmas. I wish you all wonderful, wonderful holidays. Merry Christmas. And so the video, I've sent you the link. Probably the end of the day, the videos are uploaded onto the link that I've shared with you. Go ahead and take a look when you're ready to see it. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you at the end of the year, the last Tuesday of the year. All right, take care, everyone. Merry Christmas.